Welcome to the Estuarium at Dauphin Island Sea Lab, dedicated, as reflected in this presentation, to a world of water. Water, it's the key to life. Its abundance distinguishes our world from all others that we know. But the so-called blue planet is only 1/10 of 1% water, with a thin layer of mostly salt water covering over 70% of the surface of the Earth. 200 million years ago, the North American continent began to separate from the original supercontinent. An ongoing process, this continental drift gave us the Atlantic Ocean. 20,000 years ago, when the North American ice caps melted, sea level rose, creating one of the largest estuaries on the continent, the Mobile Bay Estuary. Water. The Alabama coast is blessed with an abundance of it. Mobile has one of the highest annual rainfall averages of any metropolitan area in the United States, over 65 inches. Rain comes frequently and oftentimes abruptly to the Mobile-Tensas River Delta, a national natural landmark of almost 400 square miles. Precious water arrives at the interface of life, later joining the surface waters. Here, it begins the journey from the delta, through the bay, and finally to the Gulf of Mexico. Soil, water. Plants and animals, including humans, are intimately intertwined within the delta, driving the enormous food web of the entire Mobile Bay system and tremendously adding to the life cycle in the Gulf of Mexico as well. The soils and vegetation of the delta are not only parts of the food factory, but also filter enormous amounts of dirt, fertilizers, and organic material that enters the 43,000 plus square mile watershed and ends up in Mobile Bay. This filtration partially cleanses the precious water for thousands of forms of life that live in the Bay Area. The animal kingdom ranges from multitudes of insects, an amazing diversity of species, ancient predators, and a history of human occupation that reaches back probably 6,000 years and includes the last historic battle of the Civil War. And since then, the Delta has provided wood, water, transportation, and wastewater assimilation for a variety of timber, textile, chemical, and paper interests. It also provides recreation for generations of hunters and fishermen. The Delta protects us with flood control and stormwater retention for much of the metropolitan area of the city of Mobile, population 194,000. Its resources also help provide for a tradition of shipbuilding that began with wood and flourishes today. The water travels south from the delta and enters Mobile Bay below the causeway, connecting the eastern and western shores. The bay is a broad, relatively shallow estuary, averaging only 10 feet in depth and stretching approximately 32 miles from the delta to the Gulf. Dredging maintains a 55-foot ship channel dividing the bay along the north-south axis and provides deep water access between the Gulf of Mexico and the fourth largest port in the Gulf, the Port of Mobile. The Mobile Ship Channel is marked by Middle Bay Light, which was built in 1873. Enlarging and deepening the channel yielded material that became Gaillard Island, home to thousands of previously endangered pelicans and other bird species. Sport fishermen ply bay waters for speckled trout, redfish, and flounder. The bay also yields an impressively rich bounty of shrimp, crab, and oysters. Local fisheries are estimated at over $1.2 billion annually from both commercial and recreational uses. That abundance of seafood is also appreciated by one of the bay's most popular inhabitants, the bottlenose dolphin. Mobile Bay provides a beautiful backdrop as residential development lines both sides of the bay, providing water access to a rich recreational boating industry for both power and sail. Mobile Bay and the Gulf of Mexico provide another extremely valuable resource drawn from over 20,000 feet below the bay: natural gas. Although not renewable like living resources of the bay, natural gas is estimated to be worth $18 million annually for the next 20 years. Falling tides and the river drive the water south through the mouth of Mobile Bay between Dauphin Island and the Fort Morgan Peninsula, the site of the Battle of Mobile Bay, fought in the summer of 1864 during the Civil War. The 17-mile-long Dauphin Island offers a dynamic blend of habitats: marsh, maritime forest, and a dramatic beach and dune system, which are all interwoven in a mutually dependent system unsurpassed in beauty and complexity. This barrier island initiates the chain of islands that define Mississippi Sound and protect the mainland from storms, while temporarily trapping precious fresh water and the natural nutrients. This estuary is so productive that fishery scientists have labeled the north-central Gulf of Mexico the Fertile Crescent. Just offshore, on the ebb tidal delta, the water passes the historic landmark for the bay, Sand Island Lighthouse, constructed in 1873. Fossil oyster reefs of bygone geological time now support lush, soft coral growth and add to the extensive artificial reef complex that the state of Alabama has constructed, yielding one of the highest levels of reef fish catch in the nation, all sustained by the water of the natural cycle. Mobile Bay is the heart of this watery world. As the sun rises over the bay, a new day is dawning on coastal Alabama, one in which the rich life that we enjoy and the economic growth of the area can be sustained through proper planning, concern, and caring by each of us.